In this video, we'll take a look at how sites and resources are secured through the use of SharePoint groups and permission levels, and which permissions you might need depending on what you hope to accomplish within SharePoint. There are dozens of possible actions that a user can take on the site. A permission is simply a record in a database that either allows or disallows a particular user from performing an action. So for example, you may have the permission to read a document but not be granted the permission to edit or delete it. SharePoint administrators can assign permissions one by one to each user. However, since there are dozens of actions that each user can take, and there might be hundreds or even thousands of users, this might become a very onerous process. There are two groupings that simplify this aggregation. First, there are permission levels, which are groups of permissions bundled together. And secondly, there are groups of users called SharePoint groups. So instead of adding a user, determining which of the 33 individual permissions that user should be allowed to perform on each site and subsite in your environment, the administrator can simply create a permission level and create a SharePoint group and associate it with the permission level, and then add people to the SharePoint group. There are 3 default SharePoint groups, but administrators might need to create dozens depending on the size of your organization. The 3 default SharePoint groups are team site owners, team site members, and team site visitors. Additionally, there are several default permission levels created when Windows SharePoint Services 3.0 was installed. Again, an administrator might need to create many permission levels depending on the complexity and the size of your organization. The default permission levels are read, contribute, design, and full control. So read is just as it sounds. This allows a user to only read. All the links and menus to add or edit are removed. Contribute allows users to add and edit some information on existing pages and sites, but the user can't add new subsites, for example, and can't customize properties on many web parts. Design is one step above contribute, and this allows users to create lists and document libraries to approve items and edit the content of pages. And then full control allows a user to do anything, create, update, delete just about anything on a site. There's also a level called limited access, which is customizable, and this allows a hodgepodge of privileges. So if you're a member of the team site owners group, you'll have full control permissions. If you're a member of the team site members group, you'll have contribute permissions, and if you're a member of the team site visitors group, you'll have only read permission. Also, these groups and permission levels can change on a per site or sub-site basis. You might be in the team site visitors group on one sub-site, but might be in a different group with a different permission level, such as full control, on a second sub-site. Or you may have no permission at all to other sub-sites that have sensitive information that you're simply not privy to. Again, I can't stress this enough. SharePoint is highly configurable. Your own environment may be dramatically different and seemingly very complex. Permissions are necessary to keep information confidential. Some organizations are more strict about this than others. That's what makes this series difficult. Since SharePoint is so configurable, as an end user, your experience within your company might be dramatically different from what I demonstrate. I'll be demonstrating the default functionality within an unconfigured SharePoint implementation. I would encourage you to try and grasp the concepts, the big ideas, and not fixate on the exact colors or wording or even location of the menus and the links that I click. In the next video, we'll briefly look at navigating through your SharePoint environment.
You're watching another great instructional video from trainingspot.com, your IT training destination.